Yes, we are on questions. Can you guide me the next question? 9-8, hein, c'est bien ça. Yes, Sir Honorable Roukni. I wanted to check. I just wanted to check.
B981.
Madame la Présidente, je suis informé qu'une dizaine d'abonnés situés le long de Chiv-Bracas Road à Triolet rencontrent des problèmes de faible pression d'eau en raison de la longueur du réseau de tuyaux alimentant leur habitation. Afin de remédier à cette situation, la CWA procédera à l'installation d'un nouveau tuyau dédié d'une longueur d'environ 160 mètres le long de cette route, afin d'assurer un meilleur approvisionnement en eau aux abonnés concernés. Ces travaux seront réalisés par les équipes internes de la CWA. Les travaux vont débuter le mercredi 8 juillet 2026 et devraient être achevés dans un délai de 3 mois, soit d'ici le 27 juillet 2026. Le coût estimé des travaux, y compris les raccordements domestiques, s'élève à autour de 455 000 roupies.
Yes, no questions. Good. Anyone else? No? Honorable Apollo?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. B982.
Madam Speaker, I would like to thank the honourable member for raising this important issue, which has regrettably become a source of increasing concern, particularly in relation to road safety. We have all witnessed the growing popularity of electric-powered motorcycles, bicycles, and scooters on our public roads. This trend, especially prevalent among minors, is driven by affordability, convenience, and attractiveness of these vehicles to meet short-distance trips, but also due to an extreme laxity in compliance with legislation where applicable, both by dealers in such vehicles at the time of sale and the purchasers, whereby issues relating to registration, insurance, need for appropriate licenses, and protective clothing are not given due consideration. Mindful of the pressing challenges posed by the presence of these vehicles on our roads, government, at its meeting on 16 January 2026, invited my ministry to legislate inter alia on the mandatory wearing of helmets by riders of electric scooters. Madam Speaker, consultative meetings have been held at the level of my ministry with TRMSU and NLTA and the police on the subject. The following matters have been thoroughly addressed. The prevalence of unsafe riding practices, the use of such vehicles without appropriate safety equipment, especially by youngsters, the absence of insurance coverage in certain instances, and consequently liability concern in case of accidents, the operation of high-powered electric vehicles by underage and untrained individuals, the roads along which such vehicles may be authorized to run and where they should be prohibited. Honorable members might have noted that youngsters are riding scooters on our highway, the motorways, heedless of the risk arising. There was full consensus among all institutions on the need for compulsory wearing of protective helmets for all riders, including cyclists. Furthermore, the following regulatory measures were also considered. Number one, compulsory registration of cycles, pedal cycles, and electric bikes. Number two, prescription of a minimum age for persons authorized to ride pedal cycles and electric bikes on public roads. Number three, mandatory use of high visibility clothing, that is reflective jackets, between sunrise and sunset. And number four, the introduction of speed limits for electric bikes. Madam Speaker, it has been observed that road safety risks for riders are often compounded by the lack of awareness regarding existing traffic regulations. This poses a danger not only to the riders themselves, but also to other road users, including pedestrians. It is therefore vital that we balance innovation and accessibility with public safety and responsible road use. In fact, the honourable member raised this very concern with me during the sensitization campaign held at Meheberg on 9 May 2026 in the context of Road Safety Week 2026. On that occasion, I had informed all those present that my ministry is already drafting the provision to be incorporated in the regulatory framework pertaining to electric-powered two-wheelers. I wish to reassure the honourable member to end, Madam Speaker, that the proposed legislative provisions are currently being refined by my ministry in consultation with TRMSU, NLTA and Police Department. I will surely seek the agreement of government to my ministry, issuing drafting instructions to the Attorney General's office to regulate on enhancing the road safety of what we consider as an important segment of our vulnerable road users. This will add inevitably to the long list of drafting instructions my ministry has already issued to the Attorney General's office. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, one supplementary.
Yeah, I thank the Honourable Minister for his serious concern. With a recent incident involving a minor of 15 years old on an electric bike where there was no insurance coverage, can the Minister inform the House if an insurance coverage is under study for such vehicles?
Yes, Madam Speaker, and like I mentioned in my reply, the absence of insurance coverage in certain instances and consequently liability concern in case of accident is a concern and is being looked into. I thank the honourable member for this question.
You mean the imposing of an insurance?
Yes. Going forward, this
Yes.
is what the committee comprising of the TRMSU and LTA and the police are looking into and recommending.
Good. That's it. Next question, Honourable First Member for Port Louis North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question B983.
Madam Speaker, as you are aware, the e-health project was initially launched under the Indian line of credit prior to 2014 general elections, but was shelved for unknown reasons following the change in government in December 2014. It was reinitiated only in 2022 with the former government through a portfolio agreement with UNDP, appointed as implementing partner with full responsibility for procurement and overall project management. Accordingly, the contractors were selected by UNDP together with the former government. Since then, the implementation of the project is being managed by UNDP. Initially, the system was expected to go live by December 2024. This deadline was not met due to serious operational, technical, and coordination delays, largely resulting from gaps in planning, insufficient groundwork, and limited oversight by the former government. In particular, site readiness constraints, including electrical works and connectivity issues flagged by UNDP, remain largely unaddressed, thereby delaying successful implementation. Madam Speaker, following my assumption of office in November 2024, together with my colleague, the Honorable Dr. Avinash Ramtehol, we reviewed the project. We were faced with two options, either to scrap the project altogether or to salvage it. Given the substantial public investment already made, we chose the latter, despite the Herculean task of rescuing a project that had fallen significantly behind schedule. We then took immediate action to address the shortcomings, accelerate progress, and move the project into implementation with a clear focus on delivery and tangible outcomes. To that end, an interministerial committee was established to provide close oversight, strengthen coordination, enhance accountability and transparency, and ensure timely resolution of issues in line with the project objectives and revised timelines. As of today, Madam Speaker, the Ministry through the Digital Health Agency is closely monitoring the project at granular level through a structured project monitoring committee, bringing together UNDP, the Ministry of Information, Technology, Communication and Innovation, users and other relevant stakeholders. The PMC is addressing key implementation issues and operational requirements for the effective nationwide roll out of the first phase. The pilot phase is being used to address matters relating to system stability, completeness of patient records and data and scalability. The platform stabilization stage is expected to be completed within the next 3 months, after which deployment will be extended to other regions and health centers. Change management principles will also be applied to ensure full user adoption in the best interest of patients and the healthcare sector. I'm pleased to apprise the House that the system is actively being used and tested by medical records officers, nursing officers, doctors, specialists, and pharmacists. As at date, the e-health system has recorded more than 153,200 patient registration, 287,800 visits, 32,700 file mappings, 43,000 appointments, 8,000 admissions, 7,400 discharges, and 281,100 doctors' consultations. Madam Speaker, in Region 3, the system has already been deployed across 29 sites, including New Flag Hospital, Belay, Lady Suchil, Ramgula Mediclinics, and several health centers. The pilot has also been extended to other regions. Region 4 deployment has started at Grandbois and Descallier Mediclinics, while file mapping is underway at Jawaharlal Nehru Hospital. In Region 5, the system is already deployed at ENT Hospital, with file mapping underway at the National Cancer Center. For Region 1 and 2, preparatory works are ongoing. This includes infrastructural readiness at Brown Sequoia Mental Health Care Center and Subramaniam Bharati Eye Hospital, as well as electrical upgrade planning at SSRN Hospital and the substations. Madam Speaker, with regard to the expected completion dates, the pilot phase, including the platform stabilization, is expected to be completed by October 2026. The system will thereafter be progressively scaled up across all hospitals and health centers, with full implementation targeted by the end of 2027. It should, however, be recognized that e-health project is a major and complex national undertaking involving multiple technical, operational, and institutional dependencies. An agile implementation methodology is being adopted, allowing progressive deployment, testing, and refinement based on user feedback, technical performance, and lessons learned. The progress and timelines will be continuously monitored and adjusted when necessary to ensure control and sustainable implementation without compromising system quality, cyber security, patient safety, or continuity of health services. Madam Speaker, with regard to part B of the question, I'm informed that the total amount of USD $7,420,768 has been paid to UNDP under a portfolio agreement which covers e-health project as well as several other digital initiatives. The portfolio agreement also includes, but not limited to, the laboratory information management system, border health control system, including all-in-one travel form, digital health strategy and legislation, capacity building, as well as change management, project management, and implementation support by UNDP. Of this amount, $6,975,652 representing approximately 94% of the total amount had already been paid before November 2024 by the former government, while the remaining USD $445,116 was paid by the present government in June 2025. I'm further informed that following a procurement exercise conducted by UNDP, the contract specifically for e-health project was awarded to a consortium in January 2024 for an amount of USD $4,440,576 plus $66. Out of this amount, I'm informed that UNDP has already disbursed a cumulative sum of USD $2,746,091.19 to the consortium through a series of payments, each linked to the successful completion of specific contractual deliverables and milestones. The remaining amount of USD $1,694,484.47 is still pending and will be paid by the UNDP following successful completion of all remaining deliveries. In addition, associated infrastructure works, including electrical works, network readiness, IT equipment, and other site readiness requirements, are being financed separately under government budgetary provisions in support of phased roll-out of the project, amounting to 257.1 million rupees, and payment is being effected in accordance with the terms of payment. Madam Speaker, with regard to part C of the question, I wish to inform the House that pursuant to a cabinet decision of 16th August 2024, government approved the setting up of a dedicated entity for the administration and long-term sustainability of e-health project. The company, namely Digital Health Company Limited, was thereafter incorporated in 19 September 2024 under the Companies Act 2001 as a state-owned company operating under the aegis of my ministry. Government has also approved that the company be administered by a board comprising, among others, representatives of my ministry, Prime Minister's Office, Ministry of Finance, Attorney General's Office. The board members were appointed in accordance with the relevant provisions and procedures under the Companies Act 2001. It should be noted that the names of directors of any company are available in the public domain and may be obtained through the Registrar of Companies. Nevertheless, for the sake of transparency, I am tabling the full composition of the present board together with qualification of its members. Madam Speaker, the company is currently being managed by a senior public official in the grade of permanent secretary, designated as officer in charge, with support from officers of my ministry. As regards the staffing of the company, recruitment is being carried out progressively in line with the approved organizational framework through public advertisement, screening, shortlisting, and interview under the supervision of the board. Following a recruitment exercise, 28 digital health system officers have been appointed, out of whom only 19 are in post as of now. These officers are being deployed across hospitals and health regions. Madam Speaker, the implementation of the e-health system remains a high priority for government. It represents a long-standing aspiration for the modernization of our public health service, and through sustained efforts, we are now seeing real signs of progress. The system is presently in its pilot and platform stabilization phase, with close monitoring to address technical, operational, and user-related issues. Further work is ongoing to enhance reliability, streamline processes, and ensure a better experience for patients and healthcare personnel. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, honourable member.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Can the Honourable Minister confirm regarding the digital health agency which runs the e-health project, whether budget allocation has increased from 25 million to 45 million, and give the reason thereof? Thank you.
Well, I don't have in mind the exact sum which has been voted, but if the sum has been voted, it's because we have to recruit, and at the same time, we are trying to expand. In the beginning, it was in its initial stage, and that much of money was not needed. And in fact, we have returned 19 million rupees back to the consolidated fund. We did not use the money, but now, as and when the work is progressing, we have got plenty of work to do. For example, there are 2 regions where practically nothing was done by the previous government, and for that, money is required. I believe, because being given that this is governed by the Companies Act, it means they are completely independent. They take their own decisions. But definitely, as far as matters of finance is concerned, it's my responsibility as a minister to look into it. But I can assure the House that each and every rupee will be utilized for the best of the system.
Yes.
Thank
Second
you.
question.
Yeah, and the last, thank you, Madam Speaker. As the Minister has tabled the list of directors, can the Honourable Minister inform the House what the salaries of the directors are? Have there been an increase for the next fiscal year, and give the details? Thank you.
I don't have in mind exact, but in fact, this committee that this was approved by the special committee, which is chaired by the Secretary to Cabinet. The decision was taken. This is considered to be grade A company. Grade A company according to the company rule, and not a single rupee additional will be paid to them. Whatever is prescribed by the Act, that much will be paid, not much.
Okay, next question. Honourable First Member for La Carrière-Phoenix.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. B984, please.
Madam Speaker, I am informed by the Municipal Council of Aqua Phoenix that there are currently 20 public gymnasiums operating under its responsibility. With your permission, Madam Speaker, I am tabling the list of these gymnasiums, indicating their respective location and status of their fire certificates. With regard to Part B of the question, I am informed that the total expenditure incurred by the Municipal Council for the maintenance of the gymnasium premises and equipment during the financial year 2025-2026 amounted to 272,534 rupees. This expenditure relates to routine maintenance and minor repair works, including painting, lighting, plumbing, electrical works, and other necessary upkeep to ensure that these facilities remain safe, functional, and accessible to the public. Madam Speaker, with regard to Part C of the question, I am informed that at the time of the parliamentary question was submitted, the fire certificate of 4 gymnasiums, namely Hollywood Municipal Complex, Carolalian Municipal Complex, Palmanson Omni Sport Complex, and Beltier Municipal complex had expired. I am further informed that the Municipal Council had already initiated the renewal process through the National Electronic Licensing System, that is the NELS, following inspection carried out by the Mauritius Fire and Rescue Service, MFRS. Only minor additional fire safety improvements were recommended prior to the renewal of the fire certificates. On the recommendation of the MFRS, the 4 gymnasiums were permitted to continue operating pending the completion of these minor improvement works and the renewal of their fire certificate. The Municipal Council acted promptly and completed all the required works within a few days. Upon completion of the works, the MFRS carried out follow-up inspection, confirmed that all its recommendations had been fully complied with, and issued the necessary clearances. Subsequently, the new fire certificate, valid for a period of 3 years, were issued on 6 July 2026. Accordingly, I wish to reassure the House that all the 20 public gymnasiums operating under the responsibility of the Municipal Council of Aquaphoenix are now in possession of valid fire certificate. Thank you.
Yes, it was yesterday, if I understand it.
Yes,
Came
one
yesterday.
supplementary question, Madam Speaker.
Start with one. Start with
Yes,
one.
only one.
Ah, okay.
Yes. May I know from the Honorable Minister whether there is a survey with regard to the equipments that you have in all those 20 gymnasiums? Because most of those gymnasiums, they've got equipments that are obsolete or broken, despite they are still running without fire certificate. Do you have a survey for that? All those equipments that need to be repaired?
Following the survey that has been done, we have noted that we have only 4 that was not
Okay.
under fire certificate, and it was minor recommendation from the MFRS. So everything has been done, and all the 20 now holds a fire certificate. Yeah.
Asking for equipments, obsolete equipments. Yeah.
So I have to make a survey for this. I can,
For the
I can-
equipment.
Yeah, of course.
For the equipment.
Yeah, for the equipment, we can make a survey for it.
Okay, good. So next question will be for Honorable First Member for Montagne Blanche and Grand River Southeast.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. B985.
Madam Speaker, the welfare program fund is a social protection measure to provide immediate financial assistance to laid-off workers by paying a transition unemployment benefit for up to 12 months. Under Section 77 of the Workers' Rights Act, the main objects of the welfare program fund are to pay a transitional unemployment benefit to laid-off workers, to pay remuneration due to a worker where an enterprise is considered to be insolvent or in case of force majeure, to pay the amount representing the balance of 20% of industrial injury benefit to which an injured worker is entitled, calculated in accordance with the Social Contribution and Social Benefits Act, and to pay the financing of such social plan for the benefit of workers as may be prescribed. Under this provision, the Workers' Rights Social Plan Income Support to Workers Regulation 2024 were made for income support to employees who were deprived of their wages from April 2024 to February 2025 as a consequence of having difficulties in accessing their workplaces due to infrastructural works being carried out along B103 road in the region of Chamarel. Moreover, Section 40 of the Workers' Rights Act, which applies to a worker earning up to 600,000 rupees annually, provides that the Workfare Program Fund shall hold an account known as the Wage Guarantee Fund account, the purpose of which is, firstly, to pay remuneration for not more than the last 3 months' wages as indemnity in lieu of the last 3 months of wages as indemnity in lieu of notice, and end of the year gratuity or bonus due to a worker up to an amount of 50,000 rupees where an enterprise is considered insolvent or in the case of force majeure. This payment is refundable to the Workfare Program Fund upon realization of assets of the enterprise. Secondly, the Wage Guarantee Fund account is also used to provide for unpaid contribution to the Portable Retirement Gratuity Fund. Madam Speaker, as far as the eligibility criteria is concerned, Section 84 of the Workers' Rights Act, which applies to all workers, irrespective of their salary, provides for the payment of transition and employment benefit where, first of all, a worker's employment contract is terminated by the employer for any reason, whether justified or not. B, where work has ceased for reasons of force majeure, death of the employer, or the company is removed from the register of the Companies Act. Or C, where no termination letter has been issued and the case is deemed to be bona fide. In addition, to be eligible for the payment of the transition and employment benefit, the worker's complaint must be registered within a period of 60 days following the termination of his employment, or after such period, provided that he shows cause certified by a medical certificate that he was admitted to a hospital or other medical institution, was on sick leave, or was bedridden during the specified period. The workers, another criteria for eligibility, the worker must reckon at least 180 days continuous employment, and in case of a part-time worker, he must have performed more than 24 hours work in a week. Public officers, person employed by a statutory body falling under the purview of any ministry or by a local authority, migrant workers, and non-citizens are not eligible for the payment of transition and employment benefits. The amount of transition and employment benefit payable to a worker is as follows: 90% of basic wages or salary for the first 3 months, 60% of the basic wage or salary from the 4th month to the 6th month, and 30% of basic wage or salary from the 7th month to the end of the 12th month. However, the maximum wage for calculating the transition and employment benefit is 28,750. Madam Speaker, pursuant to Section 84, subsection 7 of the Workers' Rights Act, the transition and employment benefit shall cease as from the end of the month in which the worker either becomes gainfully employed on a full-time basis for a period of at least 30 consecutive days, or reaches retirement age, or declined for the second time an offer for a job or training which is in accordance with his profile and qualification. Under Section 84, subsection 8 of the Workers' Rights Act, a worker who becomes gainfully employed has the obligation to notify the supervising officer of my ministry accordingly. Where a worker who is in gainful employment fails to notify the supervising officer, he shall commit an offense. If he continues to benefit from the transition and employment benefit after being gainfully employed, he should refund the transition and employment benefit received, failing which the refund constitute an offense. The failure to refund constitute an offense under Section 84(8)(c) of the Workers' Rights Act. Madam Speaker, in accordance with Section 123, subsection 2 of the Workers' Rights Act, such offence shall, on conviction, be liable to a fine not exceeding 25,000 rupees and to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years.
Yes?
I thank the Honorable Minister for his answer. Can the Honorable Minister indicate how many applicants are currently awaiting disbursements of assistance under the welfare program?
Madam Speaker, I don't have the number of pending cases, but what I can table is for each of the year 2022 until, and for the period January 2026 to June 2026, the number of applications received, the number of applications disposed, and the number of applications being processed at the level of the ministry.
You will be able to provide,
I will provide the additional information as how many is pending.
of course. Is that right? Yes, next question.
Yes, since we are concerned about unemployed people, is there any local recruitment first requirement before an employee is allowed to apply for foreign worker permits?
Yes, Madam Speaker, as I said, one of the eligibility criteria for this payment of transition and employment benefit is that the employee, the worker, should not have refused twice a job offer which matches his qualification and experience. and therefore every worker who benefits from this transition unemployment benefit has to register with the unemployment center, and he is offered on a priority basis, any job availability. And this is now a requirement before any employer recruit a foreign worker. He needs to go through the employment information center. He needs to give a first offer to people unemployed, including people receiving that unemployment transition benefit.
Yes, good. Honorable First Member for Port Louis North.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Question B, 986.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the National Social Inclusion Foundation and SIF that the Fortified Learning Environment, FLE, national program was introduced in the year 2020. The extended program tutors is one segment of the Fortified Learning Environment, FLE program, and its aim is to provide educational, psychosocial, and family support to secondary school students experiencing learning difficulties enroll on the former extended program, EP, now known as the Foundation Program for Literacy, Numeracy, and Skills, FPLNS. Madam Speaker, I'm also informed by the NSIF that there are 166 staff in Mauritius and 21 in Rodrigue who have been recruited under the FLE program on contract basis at various points in time in year 2023 and year 2024 for a duration of 5 years. Under the specific extended program tutors, there are presently 50 staff. The contract of 38 of the staff will terminate in 2028, and 13 other staff's contract of 5 years will terminate in 2029. Therefore, in view of what I've just highlighted, no contract is due to expire soon. This would be my reply to the first question, Madam Speaker. In regard to the second part of the question, the whole role of NSIF in regards to Fortified Learning Environment, FLE program, is being reassessed. Should the NSIF, which is the NGO funding agency arm of the state, be itself the provider of social program such as FLE? This is the question under discussion right now. Should it not be the Ministry of Education or other institutions such as the National Empowerment Foundation? This is also under discussion. In any case, any change in policy will be discussed with all stakeholders, including the NSIF FLE employees, to ensure continuity of their employment and long-term program effectiveness. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, one question.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. J'ai bien compris la réponse du ministre qui est très claire. Néanmoins, j'aurais voulu poser une question. Est-ce que l'honorable ministre pourrait-il confirmer à la Chambre combien d'employés sont concernés par l'arrivée à terme de ces contrats? Le gouvernement ou la NSIF envisage-t-il d'offrir à ces employés un emploi permanent ou toute forme d'intégration durable au sein de la fonction publique d'un organisme para-étatique ou de la NSIF compte tenu de leurs 5 années de service continu? Merci.
As I've just stated, Madam Speaker, there are 166 staff in Mauritius and 21 staff in Rodrigue. For the specific program, in the question of the honorable member, there are 50 staff in the extended program tutors, and no contract is being expired now. They will be expired 2028 and 2029. So there is no issue on termination of contract now. Then we will have to discuss if there are kind of redeployment in any other institution. This will be discussed with the preservation on their acquired right. You can rest it on me. I'm an ex-trade unionist.
Yes. Yes, Honorable Second member for Flap Bonaccueil. Yes.
Oui, Madame la Présidente, B987, s'il vous plaît.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed that the junction of B24 Higginson Road and B111 Unité Branch Road has been identified by the Land Drainage Authority as a high-risk flood-prone area due to its low-lying topography and the convergence of significant upstream overland flows, resulting in recurrent flooding, debris accumulation, and disruptions to road users during heavy rainfall. Following detailed technical assessments, the LDA developed a comprehensive flood mitigation concept for the area, which was subsequently entrusted to the Drain Infrastructure Construction Limited on 16 September 2024 for implementation. The proposal provides for a holistic solution comprising a retention basin, major culverts, and a system of swales designed to attenuate and safely convey stormwater up to the final discharge point, that is Rivière du Poste de Flac. The estimated cost of the overall solution is approximately 177 million rupees, excluding VAT. Madam Speaker, following consultations between my ministry and the LDA, it was agreed to proceed in phases, prioritizing immediate risk reduction works. Thereafter, following further consultations with the LDA, the Road Development Authority and the Traffic Management and the Road Safety Unit, the project design was refined to incorporate traffic safety improvements alongside flood mitigation, including the introduction of a roundabout at the junction. The first phase of the project will focus on critical interventions at the junction, namely the raising, realignment, and reprofiling of the B24, B111 junction, the construction of reinforced concrete culverts to improve hydraulic conveyance, and associated drainage and road safety works, including a three-legged roundabout, earth drains, and riprap protection. Madam Speaker, financial clearance of 49.42 million was sought and obtained from the Ministry of Finance for works, together with an additional sum of 3.81 million for consultancy services and land surveying. The procurement process has been completed. The bid evaluation committee has recommended award to Transway Construction Company Limited for an amount of approximately 49.42 million exclusive of VAT. Award has been made on 6 July 2026. Works are scheduled to start on 15 August 2026 with a contract duration of 364 calendar days. Works expected to be completed by 15 August 2027. Madam Speaker, I also wish to inform the House that in addition to the works to be undertaken by DICL, the earth swale component forming part of the continuous drainage channel, that is from the new RC culvert at the road junction up to the final discharge point, will be implemented on a cost-sharing basis separately by Alteo Limited over a stretch of 475 meters following technical coordination with DICL and the LDA. The detailed engineering drawings and specifications regarding the earth swales have already been transmitted to Alteo Limited. This component is intended to commence in coordination with the phase 1 works to ensure hydraulic continuity of the system up to the discharge point. Madam Speaker, as regards the remaining components of the overall flood mitigation solution, including the retention basin and additional upstream attenuation measures, these will be undertaken in subsequent phases while closely monitoring the effectiveness of phase 1 in the first instance.
Thank you, Honorable Bichuk. You're all right. Thank you. Now I think it's Honorable Second Member for Grand Bay Poudre d'Or.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. B989.
Madam Speaker, I am informed that there is currently no proposed project for the development of a sport complex on the site of the former traffic center at Woodlands. The land, which is state land vested in the District Council of Rivière du Rempart, covers an area of approximately 5,500 square meters. While the region already benefits from several outdoor sporting facilities, there is currently no dedicated indoor sport complex within the jurisdiction of the District Council. Madam Speaker, the development of an indoor and outdoor sports complex is a major capital investment. Such a project requires proper planning, technical studies, detailed design, and adequate financial resources. It must therefore be identified as a priority by the District Council and included in its capital investment program and budget estimates before government funding can be considered. In this regard, honorable members were invited to submit priority capital projects for their respective constituencies under the Government of India grant, with funding up to 23 million rupees per constituency. This provided an opportunity for the proposed sport complex to be considered in consultation with the District Council. Similarly, during the annual budget preparation exercise, all local authorities were invited to submit their priority capital projects together with the necessary cost estimate for consideration by my ministry and the Ministry of Finance. The honorable member could also have discussed this proposal with the chairperson and members of the District Council so that project could be considered among the council's development priorities. Likewise, my ministry remains open to receiving proposals from the local authorities for projects of this nature. However, I am informed that no such proposal or request was submitted during the recent budget preparation exercise. Madam Speaker,
Yes.
I wish to emphasize that successful local government projects are best achieved through close cooperation between the elected member and the local authority with my ministry. Parliamentary questions play an important role in ensuring accountability, but development projects are generally more effective when they are supported by proper consultation, planning, and prioritization before funding is sought. Nevertheless, recognizing the importance of providing better sporting opportunities for the youth and residents of the region, I have requested the District Council of Viajamapa to carry out a needs assessment for the proposed indoor sports complex. If the assessment confirms the need, and if the District Council decides to proceed with the project, it may be considered during the next budget preparation exercise, subject to the submission of the necessary technical studies and cost estimate under a design and build procurement approach and the ability of funds and all requirement approvals. My ministry remains fully committed to working closely with the District Council and all stakeholders to support projects that promote community development, encourage youth participation in sports, and improve the quality of life of our citizens. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Bijan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Is the Honorable Minister aware that the former traffic center at Goodlands has become a place where residents have repeatedly reported illicit activities despite the cleaning of the premises recently by Mori Facilities and even by District Council of Viajamapa? Can the Minister inform the House what is a short-term planning to prevent this type of situation?
Madam Speaker, as I said in my reply, that this type of project requires proper planning, technical studies, detailed design, and adequate financial resources. So I already explained very clearly, when we have the budget estimates, we have to come up with this sort of capital projects and then with the council to give it on a priority. So now I have get the request, maybe next time we can prepare this capital project.
Yeah, but the kind of question that you're putting, Honorable Member, maybe doesn't necessarily concern the minister, because you're raising an issue of problems that are cropping up at that place, right? Maybe you can come up with a question for some other ministry. Think about it. You wanted a second question? Okay, good, Minister. All right. Now we have the Honorable Second Member for Savannah Black River.
Madam Speaker, please, B990.
Madam Speaker, in my reply to parliamentary question B 1218 of 9 December 2025, in respect of the same subject matter, I had informed the House that a plot of land to the extent of 6,831 meter square, located at Bamboo, was vested to the District Council of Black River in July 2024 for the construction of a market fair at Bamboo. The council had subsequently issued an expression of interest to appoint a professional architect to prepare the project brief along with the concept plan, employees' requirement and specification for the proposed new market fair. A preliminary report had been finalized in March 2025, and a quantity surveyor was to be appointed to prepare the preliminary cost estimate. However, on 15 January 2026, the District Council of Black River requested my ministry to seek the technical assistance of the Ministry of National Infrastructure to provide a technical team to supervise the design and implementation of the project to ensure that there is proper management of the project and to avoid any cost overrun. Subsequently, my ministry requested the MNI to examine the request for the council and inform whether it is agreeable to provide technical assistance for the following: to review and validation of the project brief and cost estimates, preparation of detailed design and tender documentation, and supervision of works up to the completion of the project. So a reply is still awaiting from the MNI. Madam Speaker, in this financial year, an amount of 1 million rupees has been earmarked for the project so as to enable the technical team to prepare the drawings, cost estimate, and bidding documents. With regard to the project timeframe, it is expected, subject to the agreement with the MNI, that the drawing and cost estimate could be ready by end of this year, following which financial clearance would be sought by my ministry. Thus, upon receipt of the financial clearance, bid would be invited through the Central Procurement Board, and the successful bidder would be allocated approximately 18 months to complete the construction of the new market fair at Bamboo. Madam Speaker, with regard to part B of the question, I am informed by the District Council of Black River that the project will include amenities such as stall for vegetable section, meat, fish section, food court, toilet blocks. It would also accommodate a multi-purpose hall on the first floor. It is to be noted that consultation will be held with the members of National Assembly and the councillors for the implementation of the project, and the honourable member will have the opportunity to make proposal accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. You're okay, Honourable Jagannath? Yes. Honourable second member for Maibo, Manyan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. B991.
Madam Speaker, I am informed by the NLTA that 6 buses, 2 buses of the NTC and 4 individual buses are currently licensed to operate along route number 137, extending from Karo Akasha to Cupid. With regard to part A of the question, I am informed that no formal written complaint has been registered with the NLTA in respect of bus services along that route. However, a few verbal representations were received during inspections carried out by the NLTA on 27 February and 2nd of March 2026. These representations relate mainly to irregularity of bus services and non-compliance with the approved timetable. It was also observed that 2 of the individual bus operators were not complying with the timetable, and additionally, the frequency of operation was not aligned with the demand for services. Madam Speaker, the problem is a systemic one and can only be resolved with the help of technology, and that is why I, myself, and officers of my ministry have relentlessly worked on this problem, which has been going on island-wide for over 2 decades. Indeed, government has been apprised during cabinet meeting of last Friday, that is 3rd of July 2026, in the context of the progress of the implementation of the Digital Transformation Blueprint 2025-2029 on the achievement of my ministry on the implementation of the fleet management system and other technology-related projects like the cashless ticketing, the online payment of fines and digital driving licenses, renewal of motor vehicle licenses, and even a mobile app for parking system. Like I always say, digitalization, c'est le grand chantier de mon ministère. The bid evaluation exercise for the fleet management system has been completed, and the successful bidder, a consortium led by State Informatics Limited, was notified on 5th of June 2026 with a formal letter. However, a challenge has unfortunately been lodged with the independent review panel by an unsuccessful bidder, which is the legitimate right of any bidder. We hope this issue will be sorted out expeditiously and that the system will be fully operational by next year, as it seeks to bring monumental improvements to the bus service levels in terms of bus frequency and passenger information in the interest of 450,000 daily public commuters. With GPS technology, while GPS technology is available since decades in many countries, it is only now that Mauritius will finally introduce this technology in the entire bus fleet. Madam Speaker, with regard to Part B of the question, I am informed that a revised timetable was introduced on a trial basis, taking into consideration the new demand patterns in the region, following the closure of the sugar factory at Mont-Désert-Montresor, which entailed the relocation of several inhabitants to the new VRS Mont-Selma. The revised timetable is in place since 27 April 2026 and is still prevalent. The bus operation along the route will continue to be monitored and adjustment will be made to the frequency of the bus services to better respond to the travel needs of the public. To end, Madam Speaker, I am informed that subsidy deductions have been effected for days where services have not been provided for by any operator, and that an inquiry is also currently underway for disciplinary action to be initiated against those operators not abiding by the requirements of their timetable. Thank you.
Yes, Minister. Yes, Honorable Apollon is happy. It seems to me that some people, some members are feeling very hurt. Yes. But I'm not. Mind you, when I get very cold, you don't know. So maybe somebody will tell the technicians to do something about it. It's not equal everywhere. Ça va toi? Froid? Chaud? No, allez, shoot. We will do what we can, okay? Try and make it. Oui. Moi, j'ai pas chaud. Bon. Alors, I have to advise you. The table has been advised that the following PQs have been withdrawn. Members, Honorable Minister, I'm trying to speak. The table has been advised that the following PQs have been withdrawn: B992, B993, B1008. Okay? Now we will proceed. We got some more time. We'll call, therefore, Honorable First Member for Portrush North again. Yes. B994.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question B994. Yes.
Madam Speaker, with your permission, I wish first of all to convey my sincere condolences to the family of late Mr. G and T. This is a very sad case. Out of respect for the deceased and for his family, I do not propose at this stage to delve into the painful circumstances of the deceased during his last days, nor into the circumstances which led to delays in the handing over of the body to the relative. However, should supplementary questions specifically require that those details be made public, I will provide the relevant information to the House. Madam Speaker, I wish to state clearly that on the information available to me, the delay in handing over the body to the relative did not arise from shortcomings on the part of the Ministry of Health and Wellness or from the hospital mortuary services. The circumstances involve identification and related administrative processes outside the ordinary situation where a body of a patient who dies in hospital is promptly claimed and handed over to the family. Madam Speaker, with regard to the alleged incident at the time of handing over of the corpse, I'm informed that there was a verbal complaint from the sister of the deceased regarding a problem of order. I wish to place the technical facts before the House with clarity. Hospital mortuaries are designed primarily for the short-term storage of bodies of patients who pass away in hospitals and whose bodies are normally handed over to relatives within a relatively short period, generally within 24 hours to a few days, and exceptionally up to around 1 week in ordinary circumstances. In our hospital mortuaries, bodies are stored at temperatures of around 2 to 4 degrees Celsius. International guidance is consistent with this practice. Ordinary refrigerated mortuary storage is around 4 degrees Celsius, while freezer storage for long-term storage is around minus 20 degrees Celsius. It would, however, be scientifically incorrect and misleading to state that a body can be kept at 2 to 4 degrees Celsius for a fixed period without any risk of odor. Refrigeration slows decomposition. It does not stop decomposition. The appearance of odor depends on several factors, including the condition of the body at the time of death, the time elapsed before refrigeration, body habitus, infection, injuries, the presence of fluids, body bagging, handling conditions, and the duration of storage. The important point is that ordinary positive temperature mortuary refrigeration at 2 to 4 degrees Celsius is for short-term storage. International practice indicates that storage extending beyond about 21 to 30 days is no longer ordinary short-term mortuary storage. Authoritative guidance recommends that after about 30 days in refrigerated storage, a body should be moved to frozen storage if it is not soon to be released or further examined, and earlier if the condition of the body so requires. For prolonged storage, the appropriate facility is therefore not ordinary 2 to 4 degrees Celsius refrigeration. It is freezer storage with an operating temperature around minus 20 degrees Celsius and with appropriate sealed, leak-resistant body bags and regular condition checks. Even then, freezing very substantially reduces decomposition and odor. It doesn't provide an absolute guarantee that no odor will ever occur, particularly when a body is subsequently moved, handled, solved, or released after prolonged storage. In other words, Madam Speaker, the complaint regarding odor must be understood in its proper technical context. It's not evidence by itself of neglect by mortuary staff. It is a known consequence that may occur when a body is kept for a prolonged period in ordinary refrigerated mortuary conditions, which are not designed for long-term preservation. Madam Speaker, with regard to part A of the question, I'm informed that no separate departmental inquiry has been initiated by the Ministry, as there was no written complaint submitted to the Ministry, and the technical explanation for the verbal complaint was known. This doesn't prevent any competent authority from taking any action within its own remit should new facts or a formal complaint be submitted. I'm informed that the police has already started an inquiry into the case, and the inquiry is still ongoing. Madam Speaker, with regard to part B of the question, there is a protocol in place regarding the handing over of corpses to the families of deceased persons in hospital mortuaries. The relatives willing to take the deceased for burial are required to produce their identity card and death certificate. Thereafter, the corpse of the deceased is handed over to the relatives along with a death certificate specifying cause of death in 3 copies. The relatives of the deceased can then proceed to the single point office or civil status office to declare their death and apply for burial permit thereat. In case of burial, or the single point office or civil service status office and district health office to declare the death and apply for the cremation permit. Madam Speaker, in the event the relatives are unwilling to take the deceased for burial, a written testimony is sought from the relative refusing to take the deceased corpse. Thereafter, the corpse is sent to the mortuary until further procedure by social medical worker and health office are completed for burial in accordance with established protocol. Madam Speaker, there are around 100 corpses lying in the mortuary of our public hospitals. In reply to parliamentary question B/42 of 17th March 2026, I informed the House that a new mortuary chamber was being installed at Dr. AGG2 Hospital. I'm glad to inform that the equipment is being installed and is expected to become operational in the days to come.
Yes, your first.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Ce qui s'est passé est très grave. L'honorable ministre peut-il informer la Chambre comment une telle erreur ait pu se produire et s'il y a eu enquête ou sanction administrative à ce sujet et qui sont les responsables pour l'instant? Merci.
Being given, I had mentioned that this is such a delicate issue, I didn't want to comment on that. but being given the question has been knocked, I'm duty bound to inform the House what has been the situation. There had been no case of negligence, Madam Speaker. On 8th October 2025, the victim was conveyed to Victoria Hospital by an ambulance. He was admitted there on 8th October 2025. On 17th October, he passed away. No relative paid him any visit. Completely unknown, he passed away. Autopsy was carried out by the police medical officer the same day, and the body was transferred to the New Flag Hospital, that is known by Saj Hospital, because in Victoria Hospital, there was no place for corpses. After investigation, the police received information that this victim, he was a resident of Saint-Jean, Abri des Nuits. Police was able to find out. Abri des Nuits was requested to identify the body, and Abri des Nuits was unable to confirm the identity in the beginning. And according to Police Criminal Record Office, the prints were lifted from the deceased, and it was known it was one of Mr. G.N.A.P.T. According to information provided by the police, Abri des Nuits, after identification, agreed to assist the family with the funeral rites. The death was registered in their office as Rosil civil status for proposed burial at Romamel Cemetery. These informations have been available to me from police record. The burial could not be carried out because no family was identified. And then the Abri des Nuits refused to conduct the burial. The burial could not be carried out. So January 2026, the body was still laying in Flag. In 2026, Abri des Nuits contacted the police to inform January 2026 that one Mrs. M.S.A.L. presented herself as sister of G.N.A.P.T. and she had phoned to complain that her brother had been buried without her knowledge. That was in January. The date had not been mentioned. January, Abri des Nuits contacted the police to inform that one Mrs. M.S.A.L. had presented herself as a sister and had phoned to complain that her brother had been buried without her knowledge. The police requested Abri des Nuits to inform that lady to contact Rosil police station. That was in January. From January till 24th June, no news of that lady.
We're talking of this year.
Of this year.
Yes.
From January to June, no news. In January, she had appeared once through telephone. She was requested to contact the police. According to police information, there was no contact. Then on 24th June, 2026, the sister contacted Abri des Nuits once again, and she was informed that funeral had not been carried out. She was requested to contact the police. The following day, I think she contacted the police. Police informed her that the corpse of her brother was in the mortuary of Flag Hospital. She phoned the police on 24th June, the same day. The following day, she was accompanied by the police to mortuary of New Flag Hospital for identification purpose. The police was informed that the corpse had been transferred to the old Flag Hospital, that is Bruno Chong Hospital, as a mortuary at the New Flag Hospital was undergoing servicing. Then that lady identified the body of her brother by a tattoo mark on the chest. Then, during identification process, the lady made a verbal complaint that the body of her late brother had started to decompose. Now, as I have already mentioned, refrigeration doesn't stop decomposition, it slows it. A body kept in a mortuary for a prolonged period may have putrefactive changes. Smell can result from volatile compounds produced during putrefaction. The body was handed on 27 June 2026 and burial permit was issued to her at Pododo Cemetery. That is the information which was made available to me by the police.
Okay, next question.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Dans cette histoire, il y a différents sons de cloche. Je ne suis pas convaincue par la réponse.
Question, I
Oui,
said.
maintenant, je pose ma question.
Non, mais avant, vous n'avez pas posé votre question.
Mais maintenant, je pose.
Vous avez fait des commentaires.
OK.
C'est
Comme
extrêmement
tout le monde
délicat.
d'ailleurs ici, Madame l'honorable ministre est-il au courant d'allégations de trafic de cadavres dans les hôpitaux et que peut-il dire à ce sujet? Merci.
I'm sorry. I don't have any any news about it. And you know, all the bodies, just imagine, Madam Speaker, we are not the guardian of bodies. The police, they don't have any mortuary place to keep bodies. We have got almost 100 bodies in our hospitals, and all these bodies are kept properly. As I told you, the more you delay in taking out the bodies, the more problems we do get. But there has never been any such case which has been reported, at least so far we are in power, for the last 1.5 years. And so that's why I would say there hasn't been any such case.
Okay.
One last.
Yes.
The minister is saying that he's not the guardian of the bodies. Mais à l'hôpital de Brown, c'est quoi, où j'ai été rendre visite l'année dernière, le personnel qui travaille...
Comment il va répondre à cette question?
Non, madame, il est en train de dire qu'il n'est pas le gardien des corps qui se retrouvent dans les morgues, dans les hôpitaux. Moi, je pose une question. Comment est-ce que le personnel hospitalier qui travaille à effectif réduit, comment est-ce qu'ils peuvent surveiller les gens malades et en même temps surveiller les corps qui sont dans la morgue?
Madam Speaker, everybody knows the condition, what was the condition of the country and my ministry when we took over. I don't deny the fact that we have got
Minister,
a lack of
maybe when you say we're not the guardian of bodies, maybe you should be more specific, because it gives an impression.
I want just to say that this responsibility has been entrusted upon us, but we are looking after them. We are doing whatever is possible. I have just mentioned one new mortuary is under completion, and that will also help us, enable us to keep additional bodies. But the question of keeping bodies for long, we have bodies which are there lying for years, and that becomes a big burden for us. Now, at the same time, it's the responsibility of the police. We have made a request to the police, and I do hope they are looking into the possibility of getting away with those bodies, and of course, according to the proper procedures.
Okay. We will come back one day on these issues, very important issue. Let's get back. It was very sad. Let's get back. Now, I'm calling on Dr. Amir.
B995, please.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed that my ministry appointed Vyas Consulting Engineer Limited on 21st June 2018 to undertake the design and supervision of the proposed project construction of flood protection works along Ruisseau du Pouce at Cité Nazareth, Francfort. The consultant submitted the preliminary design report on 25th July 2018 and the detailed design report on 17 October 2018. Prior to proceeding with implementation, the necessary reliefs and clearances had to be sought from the relevant stakeholders. At that point in time, the authority of the Supreme Court also had to be sought to carry out work along rivers and canals. Exemption was provided only in the Finance Miscellaneous Provision Act 2021 in the year 2021. Madam Speaker, my ministry thereafter launched a procurement exercise on 25th March 2022. However, the bidding exercise was non-conclusive as prices quoted were significantly above the cost estimates. A second procurement exercise was again launched on 27 June 2022, which was also non-conclusive as bids were not technically responsive. Following, Madam Speaker, following a prioritization exercise, the LDA, by way of a letter dated 1st June 2023, conveyed the implementation of the project to the DICL. The approved project value for the works component was 109 million, inclusive of VAT, based on cost estimates prepared in 2022. The scope of works comprised the construction of approximately 400 meters of masonry and gabion flood walls on both sides of Ruisseau du Pouce, concrete lining of the riverbed of approximately 400 meters, desilting works of approximately 125 meters, and installation of handrails and other ancillary site works. Accordingly, the DICL appointed Lux Consult Limited to prepare the bidding documents and to supervise the implementation of the works. A first bidding exercise was initiated by DICL in December 2023, but the bids received were non-responsive.
Another bidding exercise was launched by DICL on 17 April 2024. However, the lowest responsive bid exceeded the approved project value by more than 65%. Madam Speaker, negotiations were subsequently held with the lowest responsive bidder on 2nd September 2024, resulting in a reduction of the quoted price. Nevertheless, the negotiated bid still remains significantly above the revised engineer's estimate. The DICL therefore requested the Ministry of Finance to revise the approved project value from 109 million to 179.63 million inclusive of VAT. Pending a decision on the request for financial clearance, a bid validity period was extended 2 times, up to 30 June 2025. However, on 23rd June 2025, the Ministry of Finance advised that the bidding exercise be cancelled. Consequently, the bidding exercise was cancelled and the project was put in abeyance as no additional funds were made available for the revised project value in the previous 2025-2026 budget. Madam Speaker, in addition, Lux Consult Limited reported that successive heavy rainfall events, including the effects of Cyclone Bilal, had significantly altered the site conditions and recommended that the original design concept of Yas Consulting Engineer Limited dated 2018 be reviewed to incorporate enhanced flood protection measures. Given that the scope of Lux Consult Limited appointment under the DICL contract did not include design services, while on the other hand, the National Development Unit of my ministry already had an ongoing contract with Lux Consult Limited to carry out a holistic study along Risojupus, the DICL requested the NDU to instruct the consultant to finalize and extract the design for Nazareth site and submit the completed design to DICL for implementation. Madam Speaker, as a study currently being undertaken by the NDU's consultant along the entire Risojupus is still at the preliminary design stage. Following the request from the DICL, the NDU requested its consultant on 29 May 2026 to carry out a cost-benefit analysis comparing the implementation of the proposed flood protection works against the relocation of the affected inhabitants and to identify feasible alternative solutions. The consultant has submitted a report on 2nd July 2026, informing inter alia that, first, the estimated number of houses which are concerned with relocation is in the order of 125. The cost of the initial scope of works at Cité Nazareth is now estimated at around 319 million. Third, the recent preliminary design report recommends that the phasing out of work should rather start from the downstream and progressively advance upstream towards Nazareth to ensure that there is no worsening of existing flooding conditions and that the hydraulic benefits of each completed section can be effectively conveyed through the downstream drainage network. Madam Speaker, given the complexity and sensitivity of the matter, including the social, legal, and financial aspect involved, my ministry is currently examining the consultant's report to identify the best course of action. Meanwhile, the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Center will be requested to remain on standby at the location during periods of heavy rainfall.
Thank you. Yes.
Madam Speaker.
Yes. Yes, Doctor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Une réponse très technique, très complexe, très difficile à assimiler pour les gens qui souffrent tous les jours. J'apprécie, je dois poser une question. Puis-je demander au ministre whether urgent consideration will be given to the construction by whether DICL, Le Consulting, Yas Consulting, for the construction of a retaining wall, even on a temporary basis, adjacent to 1 to 4 houses where lives of people matter and could be lost in the next torrential rains that could affect our summer period, given that particularly one particular person Mr. JL, whose house has been completely eroded from below, before we embark, and to concern all of us, before we embark on mega projects such as M4 or the Harbour Bridge. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I fully understand the concern of my good friend, the honorable member, because myself, we met on a few occasions on the Nazareth. It's not so simple. At a point in time, we thought that there were only 5 or 7 people that we have to relocate if we don't want to do, because it's quite a complex job that has to be done. But unfortunately, the consultant has provided a report. Now the relocation concerns 125 persons. We were even thinking about at a point in time to dig a what we call a pond, a basin in that region. But that also, according to consultants, it will not work. So we have now to sit down probably with the honorable member. I'll give you a copy of the report. Probably we study together with the members of the constituency, and we can find out, because it's public money. We don't want just to put a wall and tomorrow you get the flooding and it does not work at all. So we'll have to, if the consultant, the engineers, the professionals have submitted a report, let's study the report and together we decide on the way forward.
Yes, carry on.
Thank you again, Madam Speaker. One very last question for my honorable friend and my two friend ministers sitting at his back, who are also MLAs of my constituency. May I ask the honorable minister if he could use his goodwill so that we can have a meeting on site with the residents and give them a decent, easy explanation of what is being done for them. Thank you.
C'est un langage qu'ils comprennent.
Obviously, but I'll suggest to my friend that first we meet the 3 MPs of the constituency. I'll hand over a copy of the report to you. You study it. We meet in the office. Then we fix a date to go to meet the people.
Okay.
No objection at all.
Thank you, Minister. Second member for Grand Bay Poudre d'Or.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. B996.
Madam Speaker, the Rocheterre Government School is located in the vicinity of the Grand Gobe Coastal Road B14. This road is approximately 6 meters wide and passes through a densely built-up area. I'm informed by the Road Development Authority that pedestrian footpaths have already been constructed wherever feasible over a length of approximately 500 meters along the side of the school, that is on the left-hand side when traveling towards Grand Gobe from the Sri Ram Krishna Mandir to the Rocheterre Government School. Madam Speaker, I'm further informed that along the existing pedestrian footpath, there are handrails over the majority part of it. I've asked the RDA to consider the possibility of fixing handrails along the remaining footpath. I am also informed that there is no road reserve in this specific area. As such, it is not feasible to extend the footpath further towards Grand Gobe. The available road corridor is constrained by ancillary structures, including extensions of buildings and other structures supported by boundary walls, which extend close to the edge of the road and limit the space available for the construction of additional pedestrian walkways. This situation makes it difficult to have recourse to land acquisition. Madam Speaker, in view of these constraints, the RDA will carry out a joint site visit with the Traffic Management and Road Safety Unit and the police by mid-July 2026 to identify appropriate road safety measures that may be implemented to enhance pedestrian safety in the area.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable First Member for Vacqua-Floréal.
B997. Une Sauvé.
He said he didn't want. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Ah, Minister's not here. It's all right. We'll wait for you. Il se fait désirer. Okay. So I call again, Honorable First Member for Vacqua-Floréal.
B997.
You convey my apologies to you, Madam, and to the Honorable
Accepted.
Member. Thank you very much. Now, Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Food and Agricultural Research and Extension Institute that as per figures available, the 2025 potato crop harvest was considered to have been satisfactory. The House may wish to note that in 2025, local potato production reached 50,040 tons from a total cultivated area of 682.4 hectares, with an average yield of 22 tons per hectare, compared to the 10-year average yield of 21.6 tons per hectare. Over the last 10 years, 2014 to 2024, the average annual potato production stood at approximately 15,460 tons. These figures demonstrate that national potato production in 2025 remained broadly in line with historical performance, notwithstanding the occurrence of localized crop failure in certain regions during the second potato planting season 2025.
Yes. On n'entend pas, on n'entend
Je pense
pas.
qu'on vous a
Non, le
donné...
ministre n'a pas fini.
Oui, je sais, mais je pense qu'on lui a donné la mauvaise réponse parce que ma question concerne précisément, vous pouvez voir, ma question concerne précisément les potato seeds provided by the AMB, but he is talking about the potato production. It's not the same.
Let him finish,
Please.
then you can come back.
If I can advise the honorable member to hold her horse, I'm coming. There's no need to rush. Please, all right. No, all right, all right.
No, you've still got a bit of time. Come on.
Okay.
Do-
all right.
Try and be
Yes,
precise.
thank you very much, thank you. Now, okay, I'll come straight to what. Now, I'm informed that 73 potato planters were affected in specific regions. The extent of the damage varied from slight to severe, depending on the individual plantations. Overall, the production loss in the affected areas represented approximately 10% of national potato production. I'm further informed that FARI, through its Extension Service, carried out extensive field visits to determine the causes of the crop failure and provided appropriate technical advice to the affected potato planters. I'm additionally informed that FARI conducted 22 pest and disease surveys in the affected regions as part of its technical assessment. With your permission, Madam Speaker, I'm tabling a copy of the assessment report prepared by FARI for the benefit of the House. I'm informed, Madam Speaker, by AMB that several corrective measures have already been implemented for the campaign 2026, namely, 1, the importation of elite seed potato instead of Class A seed potatoes. 2, sourcing seed potatoes exclusively from internationally recognized and reputable suppliers in France and in Netherlands. 3, strengthening phytosanitary import requirements to ensure higher quality seed potatoes. 4, implementing a joint inspection mechanism involving the National Plant Protection Office and FARI at both importation and field levels. 5, appointing an independent international seed potato surveyor to inspect consignments at origin prior to shipment. 6, requiring suppliers to carry out seed treatment before shipment. 7, improving cold chain management to preserve seed quality throughout transportation, shortage, and distribution. 8, strengthening the traceability of seed potatoes from importation to plantation. I can also inform the House that following necessary financial clearance obtained before the close of financial year 2025-2026, a comprehensive package of support has been put in place for the affected potato planters under campaign 2025, as well as potato planters for campaign 2026, so as to strengthen agricultural production during financial year 2026-2027. This comprises measures financed by my ministry, as well as additional financial assistance provided by AMB. In this respect, my ministry has identified savings of 14.5 million from its voted budget for financial year 25-26 to be deployed as financial assistance to top up the floor price payable to potato and onion planters under campaign 2025. This measure is being implemented through AMB. Now, in order to ensure fair and adequate support to the potato planters for campaign 2025, AMB will accordingly proceed to top up by 7,000 per ton for grade 1 potatoes and by 3,000 rupees for mixed grade potatoes. Previously, in 2025, AMB paid an interim floor price for potatoes of 35,000 rupees per ton for grade 1 potatoes and 33,000 rupees per ton for mixed grade. Madam Speaker, in addition, I'm informed by AMB that as regard crop failure affecting potato planters under campaign 2025, 47 satisfied the eligibility criteria for the reimbursement of cost of seeds. These criteria required that the seed potatoes had been purchased directly from AMB and planted within 21 days of purchase. Second, a further 17 planters did not initially qualify because they planted the seeds beyond the recommended 21-day period. Nevertheless, in view of the legitimate representations made and on humanitarian ground, I requested AMB to develop an appropriate support package for those 17 affected potato planters. The remaining 9 planters were not eligible because they had neither purchased their seeds from AMB nor had planted them well outside the recommended planting season. To date, an amount of 3.13 million rupees has already been disbursed by AMB and reimbursement for seed losses, while a further 174,000 rupees is currently being processed by AMB. Madam Speaker, together with MP from the constituencies of 13 and 16, I had a meeting on the 6th of July 2026 with affected potato planters of the campaign 2025 at the head of AMB office, during which I announced that a payment amounting to 85,000 rupees per hour will be provided directly by AMB to the 64 affected planters to assist them in meeting part of the production costs. This gesture of goodwill will amount to approximately 13.7 million rupees and will be financed directly by AMB on an exceptional one-off basis. It will constitute full and final payment in respect of this matter. This financial support provided by the AMB is in line with government's objective of supporting local agricultural production. Madam Speaker, I'm informed by AMB that notwithstanding the prevailing limited fiscal space, a series of accompanying measures has been developed as summarized below. A, for campaign 2026, for all potato growers, 76,200 rupees per hectare, that is the 75% subsidy on seed potatoes. B, for campaign 2025, for all potato growers with financial assistance to top up floor price payment, 56,000 rupees per hectare for grade 1 potatoes and 24,000 rupees per hectare for mixed grade potatoes. 3, for campaign 2025, for affected potato growers only, 25,400 rupees per hectare, reimbursed by AMB on the cost of seed potatoes. And of course, the cherry on the cake for campaign 2025, for affected growers only 85,000 rupees per hectare. Madam Speaker, this therefore represents a fair, adequate and substantial package of government support. It is intended not only to provide meaningful relief to the affected planters, but also to restore confidence among potato planters, safeguard domestic potato production, and further strengthen our national food security.
Thank you. Yes.
L'honorable ministre considère comme faire la compensation proposée, mais il est bien au courant que les planteurs qui ont assisté à la réunion hier ne sont pas du tout satisfaits. Donc, par rapport à la compensation proposée pour le coût de production des pommes de terre, est-ce que le ministre pourrait expliquer à la Chambre la méthode de calcul utilisée? Comment est-ce que son ministère est arrivé à proposer une compensation pour le coût de production de pommes de terre, une compensation de 50 000 roupies par arpent, puis de 85 000 roupies par arpent, alors que les planteurs et la farée elle-même estiment à plus de 200 000 roupies par arpent le coût de production des pommes de terre? Comment est-ce qu'il est arrivé à ce calcul? Et est-ce qu'il trouve cela vraiment faire à la lumière de ces chiffres?
Madam Speaker, when the most beautiful person cannot give what she doesn't have, or he doesn't have. Now, in the light of complaints registered by planters, as a responsible government, we have leveled up to our responsibility and to meet the needs of planters to a large extent. In relation as to how it was calculated by the best of human resources who are in daily touch with the planters. You know, planters as much as probably you don't know, right? But I can tell you, they're very emotional. All on a minute, please, hold your horse. They are emotional, but they would come to better terms. And we have had good interactive meetings. All our friends from the different constituencies were relatively happy in relation to what we have offered. Of course, if we can give a better, we can make a better disbursement, so much it will be done.
Okay.
Oui. Pourrait-il éclairer la Chambre? D'abord, permettez-moi de regretter à chaque fois cette même arrogance. La dernière fois quand j'ai abordé ce sujet-là, c'était la même chose. Ce n'est pas pour moi que je parle pour les planteurs. Je ne suis pas là pour m'amuser. Pourrait-il éclairer la Chambre sur la quantité de semences défectueuses qui sont concernées? Quel est le montant total des pertes encourues par l'AMB? Et est-ce que ce montant a été réclamé aux fournisseurs des semences défectueuses, comme le ministre lui-même l'a envisagé sur sa page Facebook?
Yes. Certainly, to some extent, it can be done, okay? But you will not get the total loss. Now, I will impress upon the honourable member that we are in touch. All the members from different constituencies are in touch with the members of the planting community. Being in touch with members of the planting community is not the privilege of one or the few. It's the privilege of one and all, and we are doing our level best to respond to the needs of planters.
That is enough. That's it, mademoiselle. Honorable. On ne peut pas obliger, s'il ne veut pas répondre, ça va être dans le public, c'est tout. Je ne peux pas l'obliger à dire plus que ça. Allez, dernière question.
Je regrette quand même qu'on n'ait pas eu de montant ni de chiffres. Est-ce que le ministre peut confirmer qu'il existe depuis 2023 un rapport de la farée qui avait déjà signifié les mauvaises conditions de stockage des semences et pourquoi rien n'a été fait jusqu'ici suite à la publication de ce rapport?
This is an issue which is being addressed in a very forceful and meaningful manner by agricultural marketing. But I would advise you to read carefully all the
Honorable member, please. Let me proceed. We've got perhaps one more question to go. Okay? Honorable second member for Maïbou Plaine-Magnan, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. B998.
Madame la Présidente, je suis informé que la Banque de développement de Maurice, la DBM, administre depuis juillet 2024 le programme de subvention destiné à encourager l'installation des systèmes de récupération des eaux de pluie. Dans ce cadre, les ménages dont les revenus mensuels est inférieur à 60 000 roupies peuvent bénéficier d'une aide financière de 10 000 roupies pour l'acquisition d'un tel système. Madame la Présidente, s'agissant de la partie A de la question, je suis informé que depuis mars 2025 à ce jour, la DBM a reçu 407 demandes, dont 188 ont déjà bénéficié de cette subvention. Conscient de l'importance de renforcer la résilience hydrique des ménages face aux défis liés au changement climatique, le gouvernement, mon ministère, a prévu une enveloppe de 30 millions de roupies dans le budget 2026-2027 afin d'assurer la poursuite de ce programme. Les demandes éligibles qui n'avaient pu être traitées lors du précédent exercice financier seront ainsi examinées. La poursuite du programme demeurera toutefois tributaire de la disponibilité de ressources financières. Madame la Présidente, en réponse à la partie B de la question, je tiens à souligner que ce programme vise avant tout à permettre aux ménages à faible revenu d'améliorer leur sécurité d'approvisionnement en eau grâce à un soutien concret de l'État. J'ajouterai que le gouvernement a également renforcé son soutien en accordant une subvention de 15 000 roupies aux ménages éligibles dont le revenu mensuel est inférieur à 60 000 roupies pour l'acquisition d'une citerne et d'une pompe à eau. Cette mesure vient compléter notre stratégie visant à promouvoir une meilleure gestion des ressources en eau et à renforcer la capacité des familles mauriciennes à faire face aux périodes de sécheresse. Madame la Présidente, à ce stade, il n'est pas envisagé d'étendre ce programme aux bâtiments commerciaux. Je n'y crois pas vraiment personnellement. Toutefois, le gouvernement encourage vivement les propriétaires des bâtiments commerciaux à investir dans leur propre système de récupération des eaux de pluie pour les usages non potables. Une telle démarche s'inscrit pleinement dans notre vision d'une gestion plus responsable, durable et efficiente de cette ressource précieuse qu'est l'eau.
Yes, okay. Well, I can have another question. Yes, Lucky.
Madame la Présidente, question B 999.
Thank you very much. I thank the Honourable First Member for Portus North and Mortality for this question. Madam Speaker, government policy regarding pig breeding industry is to have a modernized, resilient and sustainable pig breeding sector that prioritizes strict biosecurity, public health and environmental protection and management. Although pig breeding contributes to food security and income generation, the sector faces structural, sanitary, environmental, and economic challenges as well as regulatory issues that threaten its long-term viability. Pig breeding at Saint-Martin comprises of two phases. At the phase one, approximately 4.22 hectares of state land are leased since 1986 by the Ministry of Housing lands to the Mauritius Pig Marketing Cooperative Federation, and around 43 breeders currently operate on the site with an estimated pig population of 3,790 heads. As regards phase two, it accommodates approximately 10,905 pigs for 152 farmers. In fact, the site was initially designed for 88 pig houses, each with a capacity of 75 to 100 pigs over 25 arpents of state land for which the EIA license was granted. However, during the past few years, operations have expanded beyond the scope of the EIA to cover 205 plots within 25 arpents to cater for additional pig breeding activities. Madam Speaker, waste management remains the most pressing issue in pig breeding, particularly at Saint-Martin Phase 2, where there's no pig waste treatment facility and drainage system for pig waste. Breeders dispose of pig waste on site through pits that often overflow. With a view to addressing the challenges being faced in the pig breeding sector, an interministerial committee has been set up on the 20th of February 2026, chaired by Honorable Shakil Mohammed, comprising my ministry, Minister of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change, Minister of Energy and Public Utilities, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Regional Integration and International Trade, and two meetings have been held on 5th March and 4th June 2026. Madam Speaker, my reply to parliamentary question B/893 on 2nd June 2026, I stated that an expression of interest for the collection of pig waste and its transformation into energy was launched by my ministry wherein two companies showed interest. One of them proposed that treatment of pig waste could be undertaken in-house at its water treatment plant. After evaluation of the two proposals, the ministry is currently working on the scope of work for the launching of an open advertised bidding. Honorable Fabrice David, Junior Minister of the Ministry, has been delegated to chair a technical committee on the conversion of pig waste to energy, and a first committee was held on the 23rd of March 2026. A site visit was held on the 1st July of 2026 at the Énergie de Mascareignes regarding its waste to energy conversion plant, and a further meeting was held on the 2nd of July 2026 to discuss the feasibility of the project. In addition, at the Interministerial Committee, it was agreed that the Ministry of Health and Wellness would amend the Public Health Act to regulate the use of swill feed for the upgrading of the quality of meat in consultation with all relevant stakeholders. It was also agreed that the Ministry of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change would work on amendments to the Environment Act 2024 regarding number of pigs required for preliminary environment application. Madam Speaker, for financial year 2026-2027, 10 million rupees have been provided to cater for cleaning of the waste treatment system at Saint-Martin Phase 2 and cleaning and rehabilitation of stormwater drain at Saint-Martin Phase 2. In addition, a task force has been set by the Ministry of Agro-Industry, Food Security, Fisheries and Blue Economy to address inter alia. 1, advise on the development of sustainable pig breeding sector. 2, develop a comprehensive policy on pig waste management. And 3, formulate a policy on pig feed. In addition, I effected a site visit on Wednesday, 1st July 2026, in the presence of officers of the ministry and the pig breeders to take stock of the current situation thereat, wherein pig breeders were invited to collaborate with the authorities in order to address the various issues. A meeting will be held in 2 weeks' time with the breeders to follow up on the developments in relation to this specific matter. Madam Speaker, Mauritius being a service-based economy where tourism plays a significant role, it is important that there is a proper management of pig waste to prevent environmental degradation and river pollution and address biosecurity concerns. Therefore, the Division of Veterinary Services has been requested to work out the optimum number of pigs that is required for the population. Thereafter, the number of pig breeders will be limited accordingly, and they may be requested to diversify into other breeding activities. Furthermore, application for new permits is not being granted for pig breeding for the time being. And as from tomorrow, there will be a team, going to go on Opération Nettoyage in Saint-Martin.
Very good. This is the last question.
Only one or two?
You put your one first. Let's see.
Okay.
Put your question.
Okay. L'honorable ministre peut-il dire qu'avec 1,4 million de touristes par an, l'industrie porcine mérite de meilleures considérations et qu'il faut une assise sur l'avenir de ce secteur à Maurice, monsieur?
Il vient de répondre.
I totally subscribe to what the honorable lady has said. In fact, I would invite inputs from her, and within the next 2 weeks, the Deputy PM also will attend that meeting. We'll have a good interactive session with our friends from the pig breeding community, and you are most welcome to join us.
Okay, we will end here. We're already late. Now, the table has been advised that the following PQs have been withdrawn. B 1013, 1016, 1002, 1005, 1007, 1003, 1004, 1015, and 1011. Is that correct?
Motion.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, I move that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10.
Who's seconding? Yes, Honorable Minister, thank you. The question is that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Statement by Minister.
Yes, Minister. Not too long if you can.
It's very comprehensive, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with
your
your
best.
permission, I wish to make a statement with respect to the Rivière du Rempart market project. The House would recall that on 24th March 2026, I had provided a comprehensive reply to parliamentary question B 136 from the Honorable Payag on the same subject matter. Madam Speaker, the Rivière du Rempart market project was awarded to Alpha Mixed Limited in February 2003 at a cost of 51,049,711 rupees, inclusive of VAT for its implementation in 3 phases as follows. Phase 1, construction of market at ground floor at a cost of 21,665,046 rupees. And phase 2, extension works at ground floor at a cost of 7,813,046 rupees. And phase 3, construction of first floor at a cost of 21,571,182 rupees, following recommendation to award the contract by the then Central Tender Board. As at 27 September 2006, the Council has disbursed 36,997,116 to the contractor, while retaining 14,052,595 rupees in respect of unresolved contractual issues, including outstanding defect, uncertified extensions of time, disputed claims, and liquidated damages. In 2008, the contractor instituted proceedings before the Supreme Court claiming 183,848,589 rupees on the grounds that payments due under the contract had not been fully settled. The matter was subsequently referred to arbitration. On 13 May 2009, the Supreme Court, in consultation with both parties, appointed an arbitrator, namely Ms. D.H. Pellier, to adjudicate and resolve the dispute. The latter made the following awards, which were eventually paid by the Council. First, on 26 January 2012, an amount of 2,026,065 rupees, representing retention money due less 10% for snag list. Second, on 7 June 2012, an amount of 303,909 rupees, representing 15% VAT on the retention sum of 2,026,065 rupees. And third, on 19 July 2013, an amount of 8,022,380 rupees plus interest accrued as from year 2005. Madam Speaker, on 10 February 2014, following an anonymous letter addressed to the then Independent Commission Against Corruption pertaining to allegation against both the arbitrator and the Council of Alpha Mixed Limited, the arbitrator withdrew himself from the arbitration. Subsequently, on 18 March 2015, the Supreme Court appointed Justice Mardi Benjamin Joseph as arbitrator. The latter made the following award, which were paid by the Council. First, on 29 August 2015, an amount of 3,536,250 rupees, representing the refund of the litigated and ascertained damage inclusive of VAT. And second, on 30 July 2016, an amount of 11,181,920 rupees, representing compound interest at the rate of 15.33% accrued on the sum of 3,536,250 due from 22 September 2005 to 4th September 2015. On 23 September 2016, the arbitrator granted an interim award of 72 million rupees, 921,570 rupees plus VAT for full and final settlement of the capital claim. On 5th May 2018, an amount of 83,859,805 rupees was released by the then Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Development. And the only live issue was the payment of interest. Madam Speaker, on 31st December 2018, the arbitrator made an award for the payment of the amount of 438,634 rupees, representing interest at the rate of 15.33% per annum, compounded daily on the capital amount of 72,921,570 rupees over the period of 10 October 2005 to 3 May 2018, amounting to 427,444,630 rupees, and simple interest accruing on the amount of 427,324,630 rupees at the legal rate of 3.5% per annum over the period starting from 4th May 2018 until the date of payment. In January 2019, the District Council of River Chuampa made an appeal against the award of the arbitrator. However, in January 2022, the Supreme Court declared the award of 31st December 2018 null and void as an award made by the arbitrator in the arbitration proceeding involving the applicant and the respondent contravenes Article 1026, subsection 5 of the Code de Procedure Civile, which stipulates that an arbitration award must contain specific details such as the names of the arbitrators and the exact date of the award. Failure to meet these mandatory specifications renders the award null and void. The Supreme Court further stated that the Section 1027, subsection 3, part 3 of the Code de Procedure Civile, which makes provision for the circumstances where the award is not within the mandate conferred upon the arbitrator by the parties, has not been respected. Madam Speaker, consequently, the contractor successfully appealed before the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council on 5th June 2023, the Privy Council held that the arbitral award remained valid and enforceable. Following legal advice from the Attorney General's Office and the legal advisors of the District Council, the then Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Development provided the necessary funding to enable payment of the judgment debts. Subsequently, the total amount of 580,384,862 rupees was ultimately paid to the contractor, including 30,208,515 rupees in terms of legal fees. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that this matter attracted adverse report in its report for the financial year 2022-2023. In view of the gravity of this matter and in keeping with this government's unwavering commitment to transparency and accountability, my ministry has decided to set up a fact-finding committee with the following terms of reference. First, establish the circumstances that led to this extraordinary financial liability. Second, identify any administrative, contractual, or procedural shortcomings. Third, responsibility wherever appropriate. And fourth, make recommendation to strengthen governance in the implementation and management of public contracts. The fact-finding committee be chaired by a retired judge and comprise representatives from the Ministry of National Infrastructure, a former chief executive, and an independent engineer. Madam Speaker, this government owes it to the Mauritian people to establish the full facts. Every rupee of public money must be accounted for, and every lesson must be learned to ensure that such a costly episode is never repeated. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Yes.
Public bills, first reading.
Yes, Honorable Minister,
Yes.
are you with us?
Madam Speaker, I move that the Mauritius Hydrographic Services Bill number 11 of 2026 be read a first time.
Yes, and it is seconded. Thank you. Members, I think we can take a break now before we start on the second reading. Okay, I suspend the sitting for half an hour.